While all writers have different strengths and weaknesses, there is one monster we must all fight at some point in time, and that monster is writer's block. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of the ways that I personally get out of writer's block. But first, who am I? My name is Paris, and I'm the author of the Magi trilogy. Book 1's release date is August 26, 2022, and I absolutely cannot wait to share it with you guys. Before we talk about defeating writer's block, what is it? Writer's block is really when you have lack of motivation, you're feeling a bit burnt out, you're stuck on a scene, or you just don't know what to write next. There's a lot of different ways you can sum it up, but writer's block is quite literally when you have a block in your mind and you can't seem to get yourself to write. Now, writer's block can be frustrating for a lot of different reasons, but one of the main ones is it's really unpredictable and you don't know when you're going to be hit with it. You could be absolutely loving your story one day and the next you just can't get the motivation to so much as look at it, much less write. So the number one way to defeat writer's block is to don't get discouraged by it. It is going to happen, but you can get through it, and I'm about to tell you guys how. One of the best and most effective ways to get through writer's block is to talk about it. And I don't mean to go and find a victim and complain to them about it. I mean reaching out to a friend and telling them a bit about your story, whether that means giving them the synopsis, giving them background on the characters, or telling them about the scene you personally find yourself stuck on. The reason why this is so helpful is they're going to ask you questions, and those questions can, one, answer the plot hole that you're stuck on, help you get through that scene, etc. And two, it can help you get your motivation back. Having somebody curious about your project, having them asking you questions about it, having them smiling while they talk about it, that can get you your motivation back. So one of the best ways to get through writer's block is to talk to somebody about your story and have them help you get your motivation back. Now, one way that I not only get through writer's block, but in some ways avoid it, is I go on walks while listening to my writing playlists. Now, I have a writing playlist for all of my different whips. You might have one that's just in general for writing, etc. But when you listen to this playlist, it's going to automatically trigger your thoughts to think about your book, particularly if, say, you have a certain song that reminds you of a certain scene or a character, etc. When you hear that, your thoughts are going to fly to that character, that scene, whatever it is that it reminds you of, and that can help you get through it. Not only that, but you're going to get yourself into the writing mood. As you're listening to the same music that you listen to when you write while you're walking, it gives you the chance to let your thoughts kind of just spiral out, and it helps you to figure out that plot hole, etc. And it helps you get motivated to write. I can't tell you how many times I'll come back from a walk and immediately rush upstairs to grab my laptop because I thought of a new scene idea. Listening to music while going on a walk is a huge help. Now, if you're dealing with not just writer's block, but burnout, the way to treat it may be a bit different. While I've mentioned in other videos that I think it's really important to write every day, I never said anything about writing the same project every day. If you guys know anything about me, you know I have quite a few different whips. So one way that I'll deal with writer's block, or more specifically burnout with one of them, is if I'm feeling burnt out with the Magi, I might spend the day working on a novella instead. One of my side projects, something that's, more lighthearted, that's easier to write, something that I feel motivated for. Because sometimes you might feel burnt out with only one specific project, and if that's the case, it might be a sign to take a break from that project. Taking a break is okay. But if you're burnt out with writing in general, let's say you do have several different projects and you just can't get the motivation for any of them, in some ways, forcing yourself through it can work. You can get through that bump, you can get through that tricky scene, etc. But if you feel like you're digging yourself further and further into a hole, maybe taking a break from writing as a whole for a couple days might be the way to do it. Maybe instead of writing, you decide to go and work on some painting, etc. If you do something else, if you find another creative outlet, then it can help you build back that motivation. And when you come back a few days later, you'll come back with a fresh set of eyes, and it can help you get through it. If your writer's block is focused around being stuck on a certain scene in your whip, the way to get through it might be to write your way through it. And now I don't mean just forcing yourself to keep following your outline or forcing yourself to just keep writing the scene. What I mean is grab a different writing media. Maybe you write on your laptop, instead grab a piece of pen and paper and write down, that central question that you're trying to answer. How does this scene end? Why is this character doing this, so on and so forth. Write that question and then write a bulleted list of answers. I found that when I take a pen and paper and I write down my thoughts, if I write down questions and I answer those questions, so on and so forth, it will help me get through it. Now, this type of writer's block is more specific to just being stuck on one certain scene. It's not a lack of motivation, it's just not knowing what to write next. So when you write those questions and answer them, it can help you get through it. And then once you get through that scene, you can pick up your speed and you can, have your full motivation back and keep writing. Writer's block is different for everybody, and no two people treat it the exact same way. Some people might find that putting that project down and not touching it for a couple days is the way to get through it, whereas others find that if they force their way through the scene, that they can edit it later, and that's what helps them get through. Do what helps you get through writer's block. Like I said, it's different for everybody, so whatever way you find that can help you get through it is what you should do to get through it. And experiment around a bit. Maybe you try a few different things to find what works best. Maybe it's a combination, etc. Again, whatever it is, do what helps you get through it. Don't listen to what other people do what helps you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it helps give you guys some ways to get through writer's block, and definitely comment down below. How do you personally get through writer's block? Do we use the same tips to get through it, or do you do something completely different? Let me know. Thank you again for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and whatever time it is, have a great morning, evening, night, whatever it is, have a great day.